So this was the actual reason which I added for my parents' super visa application. So it says that our son and daughter-in-law will cover all the expenses for our visit. It says that our previous TRV application was refused in November 2024. Hey everyone, this is the video for Super Visa Part 2, and in this part we are going to fill all the details for the applicants. But let me explain the situation a little bit. I applied for my parents' Super Visa recently, which means I became the host. I was the inviter and I also became their representative, which means that I filled all the details on their behalf. So we are filling the details for the applicants here in this video, and we have two applicants, my mother and my father. So please do not get confused, and I have tried to make it simple as much as I can. But in case if you have any questions, do reach out to me in the comment section. So let's get started. So let's start by creating the profile on the IRCC portal. Click on the first link, apply for a visitor visa or transit visa. Then there are some instructions. The first one is that make sure you are eligible to apply. The second one is that you should have these items ready before you apply, which is your passport and a credit card to pay the fees. Then it tells you that you should follow these steps to complete the application. So select why you are applying, answer the questions in the application, review your answers, and upload the required documents. Then pay the fees, and you have 60 days to submit the application. But if you do not submit the application within 60 days, all the information will be deleted from the system and you have to fill out all the applications and forms again. So click on I acknowledge and start application. So the first question is about the grouping your application, whether you want to group the application or not, which means that if you have more than one applicants, you should be able to group them. So for example, if you want to submit an application for yourself plus your spouse and children who will be traveling with you, this is super visa application, so which means that your father and mother both are coming. So there are two-person and this will be a grouped application. So I'll say yes. Then there are some instructions. The next question is select the type of the group. So I'll say family because obviously it's mother and father. Create a name. So it's optional, but I'll write parents just for my understanding purpose. Click on save and continue. So you can see that you have created a group named parents, and this is the group ID. You have 60 days to submit the application. This is your starting date. The application status is in progress. So here on this page, I will be adding both the applicants, meaning my father and mother. So let's start by adding my father first. Click on continue. So now the actual form has started. You can see some tabs on the top: purpose, personal details, application, activities, security questions, medical history, family information, contact information, summary, document and fees, and then consent and declaration, and then final complete. So these all tabs you have to complete one by one. We are on the first tab, purpose, and each tab will have a set of questions which you need to fill or answer as yes or no. So let's see what we have here. The first question is I want to apply for a visitor visa or super visa. Then why do you need a visa? There are a bunch of questions, which means you need to select one from here. So for super visa, you have a straightforward option to visit my children or grandchildren for more than 6 months. And it also says super visa. So select this option, scroll down. Now you have to tell us more about what you will do in Canada and you have to include the dates. So this was the actual reason which I added for my parents' super visa application. So I wrote the main purpose as to visit our son and daughter-in-law who are permanent residents of Canada and to explore nearby attractions. They purchased a new house in 2023 and we would like to spend time with them in their first home and feel proud of their achievement. We plan to travel to Canada on September 1st, 2025 and return on March 31st, 2026. So here I gave the duration of 7 months because for super visa it has to be more than 6 months. And I also added that during this period we aim to spend a quality family time and visit popular tourist destinations in Ottawa, Montreal and Toronto area. Then you have to fill out the dates that when you will enter Canada. I'll say 2025 September 1st. And when will you leave Canada? 2026 March 31st. So these dates should match with your explanation here. And that's why your travel duration should never be like 6 months or 8 months or 10 months. It has to be proper date from and to. Then your UCI number. So if your father had any application with IRCC before, so you can fill that. Otherwise, it's optional. I did fill the UCI number for my father's super visa application because had a travel visa before, but it was refused. But for now, I'm leaving it blank. Click on save and continue. So it says that you are applying for super visa. If this is not what you are expecting, then change your answer. But yes, we are applying for super visa. There are some specific requirements which you can read, that you must apply from outside of Canada, which means your parents must be outside of Canada. You must be the parent or grandparent of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, have signed the letter from your child or grandchild who invites you, which means you should have a signed invitation letter. And then you must have the health insurance from a Canadian insurance company or any other financial institution which is authorized by OSFI. So we have already talked about OSFI and medical insurance during the introduction of Super Visa. Then the documents which you need and the information which you need to fill. So we are okay with this. Click on continue to application. Representative, yes, I will select yes because I became representative in my parents' Super Visa application. So fill the details accordingly. Who are you in relation to the person? Family member. So here my name, last name and first name, telephone type cellular, Canada, US. Then I'll write any random phone number. So I don't know. I'll just write any number. Then the mailing address, Canada. Enter any random address. So I don't know. I'm just typing any random address. Then it's filled your email address. So I'll just enter this email address which I created here. Save and continue. Now the travel document information of the applicant. So here you will be adding your father's detail because remember we are first adding father in the group. Surname Gupta. Give a name of first name. I'll write SK. Date of birth. Let's say 1965. January. Mail. Save and continue. Travel document passport. Regular. Who issues the passport? India. Nationality India. Travel document number. So I'll just write random passport number. Date of issue of the passport. Let's say January 1st, 2020. Make sure a passport is valid long enough. Yes. Date of expiry of the passport. Then I think it should be December 31st, 2030. Then few questions. So are you a lawful permanent resident of United States? No. Have you held a Canadian visitor visa in the past 10 years? No. Do you currently hold a US non immigrant visa? No. Are you traveling by air? Yes. Save and continue. Now, some questions about the citizenship and the places where you have lived, which means the applicant has lived. So, the country where the applicant was born, India. So, my father was born in India. City, I'll write Delhi. He was born in Delhi. Are you a citizen of more than one country? No. So, remember all the information we are filling for the applicant, meaning your father. Which country and territory are you citizen of? India. I'm citizen of this country since birth. Yes. Save and continue. Do you have a valid national identity document? Yes. It will be Aadhaar card for Indians. Document number. So your Aadhaar card number. Confirm your document number. Date of issue. Let's say same 2020 January 1st. And select the country who issued this document, India. Save and continue. Name used in the past. If your father had any name in the past, so you can say yes and you can add the details. You don't have to provide any proofs for this, but I'll say no because my father had the same name since the birth, so no. And save and continue. Countries and territories of residence. So this is the contact information page. Select the country of territory, again India. street address, any random Indian address, let's say Delhi. Postal code, it's optional, so you can fill if you want. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. I'm just typing any random address here. Is your mailing address same as your residential address? Yes. But if it is no, then you can provide the mailing address again here. I'll say yes. Then list your current country or territory of residence. Then add all other countries and territories where you have lived for the past 5 years for more than 6 months. So for my father, it's just India, so I'll add that. Country India, status citizen from since birth. So I'll write his date of birth here. This is where I currently live. Yes, save. I don't have any other information to add, but if you do, then you can add that by clicking on this add button. Click on save and continue. Now the biometrics. So in the last 10 years, have you provided your biometrics? So if your father has already provided the biometrics to IRCC in the last 10 years, then you do not have to provide it again. And since my father already gave the biometrics to IRCC before for his visit visa application, and that's why we are not providing the biometrics again. So I'll say yes, that we have provided the biometrics. So there is some message that if you have already given the biometrics in the last 10 years, they remain valid and can be reused for your current application. Do you wish to provide your biometrics again to increase the validity, because the biometrics has the validity of 10 years, but that's fine. I do not wish to provide the biometrics again. Click on save and continue. Now, who is inviting you? Here, I will be adding the host details. So, I am the host here in this application. I wanted to invite my parents. So, I'll add my details here. The bit relationship to you, family member, mailing address. So, it has to be a Canadian address. So, yeah, a random address here. Telephone type cellular, Canada, US. Any random phone number. I think, okay. My email address. Has someone else also invited you? So it's up to you. You can add your spouse as well here. So I was the host in the supervised application for my parents, but I also added my wife's detail here. But it's up to you. You don't have to. If you don't want, you don't have to. So just to keep it simple, you can say no and click on save and continue. But there's one more thing. If you are selecting yes here, so for the invitation letter, you have to design the invitation letter accordingly and you both have to sign there. So I'll talk about it in the document section. Click on no here, save and continue. Finances. So this is one of the difficult questions for some of the applicants, that how much money you should write here in order to get your visa approved. So there is no hard and fast rule. There is no particular set limit for the finances, that how much you should have or how much you should show. The general thumb rule is that it should be sufficient to accommodate your overall stay in Canada. And also there are two options. You can either say that applicant is bearing all the expenses, or you can also say that someone else is providing money to the applicant, which means host is providing the money to applicants during their stay. So what I did for my parents' super visa application, I added the amount here which my father and mother both are bringing together to Canada. So let's say 15,000 Canadian dollars. And yes, this is the actual amount which I filled in my parents' super visa application. We did attach their last 4 months of Indian bank statements. And along with that, there is a second question, that it's someone else giving you the money. So we said that yes, we as a host also take the responsibilities of their stay in Canada. So click on yes, and then you have to provide the details, that who is giving the money to applicants. So this was the detail which we provided in the application. Let me just expand this. So it says that our son and daughter-in-law will cover all the expenses for our visit, which means that me and my wife, we both became their host And that's why we both have our names on the invitation letter. So our son and daughter-in-law will cover all the expenses for our visit, including the flight tickets and living costs. They have a combined savings of this much Canadian dollar in their Canadian bank accounts. So you can mention the amount whichever you have in your bank accounts in Canada. To support our application, we are attaching their Canadian bank statements as well as our Indian bank statements for the reference. So just to show a little bit more amount, me and my wife, we both added our name here and promised to bear all the expenses. And that's why we both signed the invitation letter and we both signed the financial responsibility document, which we'll talk about later. So if this looks good, click on save and continue. But if you think that your parents already have the enough money in their home country, so you do not need to provide the explanation here, and you can simply say no and this amount should be enough. But I'll say yes, provide the details and click on save and continue. Now the next page is on information about education, work and other activities. Let's see what questions do we have here. Post secondary education history. Have you ever studied at a post secondary school? Yes. You don't need to have a completed degree or diploma, so that's fine. Now you need to provide the details. So click on add name of the school or institution. I'll write ABC Institute. So this will be the name of the institute where your father went for studies, and you should provide his highest education credential here. And then you can select the year from into. So I'll just fill any random year. Let's say 85 July to 89 April level study. So these are a bunch of options. You can select whichever is applicable in your case. Field of study. So I'm just selecting science general. Then the address. This is the address of the university. India. Let's say this one, ABC Road. And you should enter the address including the house number, building number if applicable. So just fill the whole address. City, Delhi. Save. And if you want to add more education credentials, you can again click on plus button and you can add that. But this one is sufficient for me. Military or police history. So did you serve in any military, militia, civil defense unit? So if your father has been in these kind of work history, so you can say yes, otherwise no. Now the next section is about the work or activity history, which means your employment, your father's employment, and you have to provide this detail for the last 10 years. Click on add. So he's a businessman. I'll just add that detail here. So let's say he started working from 90 January and it's ongoing. We have option here business, job title. So there are several options. So for simplicity, I'll just choose cashier, company name. So you can write the business name if he's a businessman. Otherwise, you can fill the details accordingly. Main duties. So I'll just write cashier, or you can say owner. Now the address of your firm or the place where you are working, which means where father is working, country India. Again, some address, ABC Street, Delhi. So just provide the whole address, including the PIN and other details if applicable. Click on save. So I think this is fine. This is from 1990. It's more than 35 years. So you only have to provide the details for last 10 years. But in case here you need to add more details, let's say you are providing only 5 years of employment history. So you can add more details by clicking on this add button. But here I have already covered 35 years, which is fine. So click on save and continue. Now the travel history. During the past 5 years, have you traveled to a country or territory other than the one where you are a citizen or where you live now? I'll say no for my father's travel history because he did not travel within last 5 years outside of India. But if it is yes in your case, you can say yes and add the details about his travel history. I'll say no. Click on save and continue. Now, a few more questions on the travel history. Have you ever stayed in Canada beyond the validity of your status? No, because yeah, he never came to Canada. But if it is yes in your case, you need to provide the explanation. I'll say no. Now, have you ever been refused a visa or permit, denied entry to, or ordered to leave any country or territory? I'll say yes, because my father applied for regular travel visa to Canada and it was refused in 2024, and I have to provide the details here. So this was the actual detail which I filled for my father's super visa application. Let me just expand this. It says that our previous TRV application was refused in November 2024 due to the concerns about the financial situations. So we saw the refusal letter and there were some points regarding the rejection. We have significantly improved our finances by breaking some fixed deposits. So in our previous regular visit visa application, we showed some amount in the fixed deposits as well. But we thought that instead of showing the amount in fixed deposits, we can show directly in the bank accounts. So we had to broke some fixed deposits for my father and mother. But I don't think it is necessary, but we just did not want to take any risk because we were applying for the second time. So we improved our finances by breaking some fixed deposits, receiving a monetary gift from our son. So to show some more amount in their bank accounts, I also transferred some amount in my father's and mother's account. And it says that who is inviting us to Canada, which means that I'm the host, and collecting pending amounts owed to us by customers and acquaintances. Additionally, all the expenses will be covered by our son and daughter in law, which means me and my wife. We also have strong ties in India, including two daughters, ensuring we will return as planned. So, there was one more reason for the rejection letter of the previous visit visa application, that they do not have sufficient family ties. So, we were trying to challenge that as well. And also, you can see that I tried to write as much as I could. So, if you had any previous rejection before, you can write the explanation according to your situation or in your own words. I showed mine because I think that this might be helpful. Now, if everything is fine, click on save and continue. Now, there are some security questions. So, have you ever been committed any crime? No. Have you ever been arrested? No. Have you ever been charged for any criminal offense? No. Have you ever been convicted for any criminal offense? No. Click on save and continue. Few more questions on security. Are you or have you ever been a member of associated with any political party? No. Have you ever witnessed or participated in the ill treatment? No. Save and continue. Now, medical history. Have you had a medical exam performed by IRCC authorized panel physician within the last 12 months? No, because their previous visit visa application was the regular visit visa application and they were not required for the medical exam. And also they did not had this medical exam in advance. So I'll say no. But if it is yes, then you have to provide the IME number. So let's say no. Click on save and continue. Now some more questions about medical history. In the last 2 years, were you diagnosed with TB? No. In the last 5 years, have you ever been in close contact with a person with TB? No. Save and continue. Few more questions on medical history. Are you currently receiving dialysis treatment? No. Drug or alcohol addiction? No. Mental health condition? No. Syphilis? No. Save and continue. Now we are on the family information page. Marital status, married, date of your marriage. So let's say 1990, January 1st. Name of the spouse, which means my mother's name. Her date of birth. So let's say 70 January. Country of birth for your mother, India. Present occupation. You can select the option which is applicable in your case. I'll say homemaker. Is their address same as yours? Which means do your father and mother live at the same address? Yes. And for this, it's better that in the document section you provide at least one ID which has the same address for both your mother and father. Will your spouse or common law partner accompany you to Canada? Yes, because yes, she will be coming with my father. And you need to answer yes, even if they both are not traveling together. So click on save and continue. Now the information about child or children. Do you have any biological, adopted or stepchildren? Yes. So add the details about children. I'll just write my name, date of birth. Let's say 90. Relationship, son, country of birth. For me, it's India. And does this child have the same address as you? No, because I'm in Canada. So I'll enter my Canadian address here. Again, random address. If this child is not in Canada, will they accompany you to Canada? I'll say no because I'm already in Canada. Click on save. And if you got more child or children to add, so you can do that by clicking on this button. Click on save and continue. Now here you need to provide the details of your parents, which means applicant's parents, my father's parent. So if the applicants do not know that who their parents are, they can simply click on this button and go to the next page. But I can fill the details here because my father knows this information. So click add. First I'll add my grandfather's name, relationship father, and here you need to provide his date of birth. So let's see any random date of birth. And if you do not know the exact month and date, which is fine, you can just select unknown. And by clicking on this button, you can say if they are still with you or not. I'll select this, but if they are still with you, you can fill the details. So, and if they are deceased, you need to provide the exact date of death. So I'll select a date here, and here you cannot select unknown, so you need to know the date. And then country of birth for your grandfather. Click save. Now I'll add my grandmother. Relationship, mother, date of birth. I'll say unknown. Occupation, I can say homemaker. Does this parent have the same address as you? Yes. You do not need to provide any ID or any address proof for your applicant's mother or father, so which is fine. Will this parent come with you to Canada? No. Save. So we are done with the parents detail of the applicant. Just click on save and continue. Now the language, your native language or mother tongue, English. Can you communicate in English or French? I'll select English. What language do you want us to use? English. Save and continue. Now the email address. So here your father's email address. Confirm your email address. Save and continue. Telephone number. So cellular, other, I'll provide the Indian phone number, any random phone number. Click on save. We are done. Save and continue. So this is the summary page. You can see all the details which you have filled so far for your father. You can expand all and you can review all the details one by one. So if everything looks fine, go to save and continue. Here you can see some instructions and the list of the documents which you need to provide. I'm not going to talk about the documents as of now. We'll talk about it later. And what I'll do is I will return to the group table because remember we have only added father to this group application. So now we will do the same thing for mother. We will add her to the group and fill all the details. So click on return to group table. Okay, so we are back on the manage group page and we will add the another applicant which is your mother. So click on add member. So here you can see the blank information. Click on continue to add your mother. Now you will see the same set of questions again. So let's complete them all one by one. So remember this is for your mother. I want to apply for a visitor visa or super visa. Then there's the option for super visa, which is this one, to visit my children or grandchildren for more than 6 months. Super visa, tell us about what you will do in Canada. So you can write the exact same reason which you wrote for your father. So I've just copy pasted the same purpose here as well, which says that to visit our son and daughter in law who are permanent residents of Canada and to explore nearby attractions. They purchased a new house in 2023 and we would like to spend some time with them in their first home and feel proud of their achievements. We plan to travel to Canada on September 1st, 2025 and return on March 31st, 2026. During this time, we aim to spend a quality family time and visit popular tourist destinations in Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto area. Now, the dates when you will enter Canada and when you will leave Canada. So, enter the exact dates here. So these dates should match with your main purpose. Now the UCI, if you know the UCI, then you can type it, otherwise you can leave it blank. Save and continue. Then there are some instructions about the super visa, documents you need, information you will be entering. Click on continue to application. So now we are on the representative page and you can see that this information is already filled because we filled the same information for applicant 1 in the same group. So for a group application, we cannot have two different representatives. So if everything is fine, click on save and continue. Now here you need to enter your mother's information. So last name and first name, date of birth. Let's say 70 January 1st, female. Save and continue. Passport, regular, India, India, passport number. Confirm your passport number. Date of issue. So 1st January 2020. Date of expiry of your passport. So let's say 30th December 2030. Lawful permanent resident of United States? No. Have you held Canadian visitor visa before in the past 10 years? No. Currently hold a valid US non-immigrant visa? No. Traveling by air? Yes. Save and continue. Country India. City Delhi. Citizen of more than one country? No. Which country or territory are you citizen of? India since birth? Save and continue. Do you have a valid national ID? Yes. ID number? So this can be your Aadhaar number if you are from India. 234567890. Date of issue. Date of issue of your national ID, which is your Aadhaar card. Who issued this document? India. Have you ever used any other name in the past? No. But if it is yes, you can say yes and add your previous name. You don't have to provide any document or proof for this. But I'll say no and click on save and continue. Now the country or territories of residence. India. Select the address. So you can write the address where the applicant lives or your mother lives. Delhi postal code. So you can write postal code. If your mailing address is same, then say yes. Otherwise, you can type your mailing address here. Now list your country or territories of residence where you have lived in the past 5 years. So for my mother, it will be India. India citizen from. So it will be since birth 1970. This is where I currently live. Save. And if you have more countries to add, you can add again. Click on save and continue. Biometrics. In the last 10 years, have you provided your biometrics? So yes, my mother provided the biometrics. So I'll say yes. And I do not wish to provide the biometrics again because my mother does not want to give the biometrics again. She gave it recently last year, which is fine. So save and continue. Who is inviting you? So I'm the host. I'll add my details here. relationship, family member, billing address, Canada. So I'll write my Canadian address here, which is a random address, cellular, Canada, US, telephone number, email address. Has someone else also invited you? I'll say no. But in my actual application, I said yes, and I added my wife's detail here because we both signed the invitation letter and the financial responsibility document, which I'll talk about in the document section. So for this video purpose, I'll say no. Save and continue. Now the finances. How much money do you have for your stay in Canada? Exactly, you can write the same information which you filled for the applicant one, which is your father. So I'll type 15,000 Canadian dollars. And is someone else also giving you the money? Yes. And I will write the exact details again here. So this is the exact detail which we added for applicant one and also in my actual application when I was doing this for my parents. So it says that our son and daughter-in-law will cover all the expenses for our visit, including flight tickets and living costs. They have a combined savings of over this much Canadian dollars, so you can write whatever amount you have in your Canadian banks. To support our application, we are attaching their Canadian bank statements as well as our Indian bank statements for reference. Save and continue. Now you have to fill the information about the education, work, and other activities. So let's fill the education history first. So we have added education for mother. Scroll down. Military or police history, no. Work or activity history. So here you will be adding the employments. So for my mother, I'll write homemaker. Ongoing homemaker address Delhi. So do not forget to provide the complete address. Click on save. So remember you have to provide the activity history for past 10 years. So for my mother, she has been the homemaker since 1990. If you want to add more information, just click on add. Save and continue. Travel history. During the past 5 years, have you traveled? No. But if it is yes, then click yes and add the details about the country which you have visited in last 5 years, which is very simple. Just click on add and just fill this form. But for my mother, I'll say no. Save and continue. Now, a few more questions about travel history. Have you ever stayed in Canada beyond the validity? No. Have you ever been refused a visit or permit or denied entry to order to leave Canada? Yes, because my mother, her previous visit visa application was refused. So I'll say yes and provide the details. So these are the exact details which I provided for my parents' super visa application. And it says that our previous TRV application was refused in November 2024 due to the concerns about our financial situations. And here we are challenging the refusal. And I'm saying that we have significantly improved our finances by breaking some FTs, receiving a monetary gift from our son who is inviting us to Canada, and collecting pending amounts owed to us by customers and acquaintances. Additionally, all expenses will be covered by our son and daughter in law. We also have strong ties in Canada, including two daughters, ensuring we will return as planned. So it can change in your condition. This is just for your guidance. So now click on save and continue. Now, some questions about security. Have you ever committed any crime? No. Have you ever been arrested for any criminal offense? No. Have you ever been charged? No. Have you ever been convicted? No. Are you or have you ever been a member or associated with any political party? No. Have you ever witnessed or participated in the ill treatment? No. But for if any of the questions, if you answer yes, you can say yes and provide the details as much as you can. But for my mother, it's everything is no. Click on save and continue. Medical background. Have you had medical exam performed by IRCC? No, because she never gave the medical. Click on save and continue. More questions on medical background. In the last 2 years, were you diagnosed with tuberculosis? No. In the past 5 years, have you been in close contact with a person with tuberculosis? No. Save and continue. More questions on the medical. Are you currently receiving dialysis treatment? No, 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 no. If you want to select yes for any of these, you can select yes. You do not have to provide any extra details at this point. So for my mother, everything's no. Click on save and continue. Now we are on the family information page. Marital status, married. Date of marriage, let's say 1990. I don't remember what I filled for father here in this application because it's all random dates. Make sure you enter the same dates. Name of your spouse. So here I'll write my father's name, Gupta SK. Date of birth. That's your father's date of birth. I think I wrote 1970. No, it was 1965. It's all random dates, so that's why I don't remember what I filled for my father. So make sure you filled all the right details here. Country of birth, India. Occupation, I think it's businessman here. Is their address same as yours? Yes, because they both live at the same address, and we also provided the Aadhaar card in passport which has the same address. But if it is no, then that's fine. You can say no and select the address where your father lives. But in my case, I'll say yes. Will your spouse or common law partner accompany you to Canada? Yes, they both are coming together. Save and continue. Children? Yes. For the simplicity, I'm just adding my name here. Date of birth, let's say 91, January 1st. Relationship, son. Country of birth, India. Does this child have the same address? No, because I'm in Canada. So I'll write this random address. I'm sorry, I don't know who lives at this address, but this is only for this video purpose. Scroll down. If this child is not in Canada, will they accompany you to Canada? No, because I'm already in Canada. Save. And you can add more child or children here. Click on save and continue. And now details about the parents of the applicant too, which means parents of your mother. So if she doesn't know about her parents, you can simply click on this button. But if you know about the parents, you can fill the information here. So these are all random information I filled about my mother's parent. So if everything is fine, click on save and continue. Now the language, I'll select English for everything. Save and continue. Email address, here you can write your mother's email address. Click on save and continue. Now phone number, so you can write your mother's phone number, or maybe you can again give your father's phone number, which is fine. Save, save and continue. So this is the summary page. You have filled all the information. You can review all your answers here, but if everything is fine, you can go to the next page, which is save and continue. So the next page is about the documents, and these are some instructions on the top, and this is the list of documents which you need to provide. And what I'll do is I'll just go back to the group table. So you can see that we have filled the details about both the applicants. So this is the super visa application. I'm the host. I'm inviting my father and mother. So I have added my father here, filled all the information, and then I came back to this group application, added my mother, and fill all the information for her as well. Now the next and final thing is prepare all the documents for both of them. So this was it. We have successfully filled all the information for both the applicants, meaning my parents, for this super visa application. Now our next step is to prepare all the required documents and to pay the fees. So stick around for the next part and I'll see you there. And if my videos are helpful, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.